Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those who are not familiar with my channel, the reason why we call it Uncommon Sense is that we deal with um, everyday issues where we're trying to find logical solutions to all of our concerns. Unfortunately, not everyone uses logic to deal with everyday problems. Uh, I just dropped the link into the chat, so everyone is encouraged to either enter the comments in the chat or click on the link and join the panel. Now, the topic for tonight is, what is your pet peeves? What are those things uh, that tend to be very annoying? Okay. The whole point of this is trying to make it a more tongue in cheek, more humorous, something's not as serious. Now, let me just give you definitions because, of course, um, I like to get clear definitions to everything that's being said. Because unfortunately, you have people who take words and then they twist the meaning of it. Now, a pet peeve is something that a particular person finds especially annoying. It could be anything. It could be a habit. It could be a gesture. It could be words that said again and again and again ad nauseum. So hopefully, um, people will share with us either in the chat or on the panel what are your pet peeves. Now, right now, we're currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope on Trailer. Now, I see we only have 3 likes and 1 person viewing the stream as we speak. I'm going to give you some pet peeves right now. One pet peeve that that bothers me to death is when people do not properly wear a face covering over their face. Now, let me just explain to you why. If you're going to wear a face covering, whether it be a mask, whether it be a scarf, or anything, it should be something that covers your nose and mouth completely. What's the sense of having a face covering if you're not going to cover your nose and you cover your mouth? That bothers me. In a sense, because that person is not taking proper precautions. Now, what are some other pet peeves that I have? Whenever I go to Dunkin' Donuts to get a cup of coffee and maybe a donut or maybe a bagel or maybe a roll, I will ask, please put everything in one bag. The reason why is because for me, it's easier to carry it. Sometimes what happens is they'll give me my cup of coffee in the hand and put my bagel or my donut or my roll, whatever it is, in the bag. And I have to repeat it again and again and again. I ask for you to put everything in a bag. Okay. I did not ask you to give me a cup of coffee in my hand and put my bagel or my cup donut or my roll in a bag. Another pet peeve that I have is I tend to be very prompt. Okay. When I schedule a meeting, or whether it be that I'm going to meet someone, I appreciate when people are punctual, and the reason why is follows. Your time is important. My time is important. If I say meet me at 3 o'clock, that means meet me at 3 o'clock. It does not mean meet me at 3:30. It does not mean meet me at 3:20. It does not mean meet me at 4 o'clock. I say meet me at 3 o'clock for a particular reason. Because unlike some people, I lead a very busy schedule. And I do not appreciate the fact if I made the effort to be prompt and you not make that same effort, that bothers me. And of course, I have other pet peeves as well. But, um, I encourage anyone, please share either in the chat or join the panel. And please enter my cyber home. Or are welcome to join my panel. All I ask is please be respectful. And what do I mean by that? If one person speaks, we all listen and we wait until that person's speaking. And then we don't try to overtalk each other. I said this before, and I'll say it again. This is not a channel for smoke. This is not a channel for wretched behavior. Now, I don't say anything negative to those creators that have wretched streams or smoke channels, because it's their channel. They can create anything they wish. They can create any content that they wish. It's just that on this channel is meant for mature conversations. Okay. Now, some other pet peeves I have. When I go to a restaurant and I order something, and then someone brings me something else, and I say, "Excuse me, this is not what I asked for." Now, I'm not trying to be a Karen, but if I order something, I should be able to receive what I ordered. If there's some reason why that my order cannot be fulfilled, whether it be because they don't have it, then be the responsible though. And if we're talking about a food order, so simply say, "I'm sorry, sir, we don't have the item that you want." Then it'll be up to me to decide whether to choose something else or go to another establishment. But at least be responsible if someone places a request for an order, whether it be for food, whether it be for a beverage, whether it be for a piece of clothing, whether it be furniture. If you do not have it, just be honest and straightforward. What used to be a pet peeve of mine, when people mispronounce my last name. And of course, I heard this about every possible pronunciation other than the correct one. At this point, I'm not gonna get too upset. I mean, all I can do is state once or twice how to correctly pronounce my name. After that, I'm not even going to argue with the person. Also, another pet peeve I have is when you're speaking with a person and the person doesn't pay attention to what's being said. Another thing that bothers me is when I'm speaking with someone on the telephone and they're not even looking at me, they're doing this. They're texting messages on their phone. Look, we have 24 hours out of the day, okay? If someone's getting a text, at least have the courtesy to say, excuse me, one moment, someone's texting me, I didn't see what's being said. Okay. Another thing that bothers me is that I'm speaking, and then the individual interrupts me and gets into a monologue for 5, 10, 15 minutes, and I'm waiting for that person to finish speaking because I don't want to be rude. And after a while, I have to say, excuse me, can I continue? These are some pet peeves. Now, my question is, what are yours? Because I don't want it to be a monologue. Hopefully, somebody will join the stream. If not, I'm going to end it because it's not just about me. I'm not here to speak nonstop. I'm here to talk about a topic and to get your input because your input matters. Because unfortunately, we have individuals, and I don't mean just in social media, I mean in our respective worlds, where they're so consumed with their own personal thoughts, with their own personal beliefs, their own personal theories, that they're not willing to entertain the thought that someone may have a point of view, someone may have a different point of view, or a different opinion, or what have you, or what maybe someone disagree with you. There's no problem in disagreeing. The only thing is, let us be agreeable when we disagree. So, by all means, everyone is, the chat is there, the link is there. So, please share your thoughts. And I'm sure that in some ways, people might find me annoying, which is fine, because there's nothing wrong with constructive criticism as long as the person explains what the person's doing or what the person's saying that is a pet peeve. And that's the difference between an individual that's able to accept constructive criticism. Now, I see there's now 2 people viewing this stream. By all means, the link is there if you wish to opine. For those who are just viewing now, the topic for tonight's stream is, what are your pet peeves? What are those things that people find annoying? And I like to pose a question. If there's something that that's bothering you, do you feel comfortable enough to sharing with that person, whether it be a loved one, whether it be a sibling, whether it be a co-worker, regarding a pet peeve that the other person has? Sometimes that person may not know that what they say or what they do is a pet peeve. Okay. Now, the adult thing to do, the responsible thing to do, is to take that person to the side, have a frank conversation, and let that person know that what you say is actually a pet peeve. Hopefully, that person will have the maturity to accept the fact that what they are saying, what they are doing, is a pet peeve. And if that person changes their conduct, that's great. And if that person chooses not to change their their conduct, then you need to ask yourself the question, which is, does that person value your input? Does that person values your opinion? And then you have to determine what's your course of action. Whether to continue dealing with this person or just not bother. That is up to you. So I'm gonna wait a couple more moments. If no one answers, if no one answers a comment, or no one enters joins the panel, I'm going to end the stream. So what I would like to do is to just let you know what's going to be the topic for the next stream, which is, what is the thought process of the mentally and intellectually challenged? In other words, what makes these individuals think? And for those of you who are not familiar with the phrase, I'm not talking about someone that's mentally retarded. That's an umbrella term for all the slow taps, the Hispano taps, the correct taps, all the different taps. Basically, individuals or groups of individuals who are not able to accept constructive criticism, who feels threatened when they hear an opposing viewpoint, that they're not able to think outside themselves. That is my umbrella term. Okay. I'm going to ask everyone to please like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to all, so that whenever I post any material, you will be notified. And hopefully you will participate, either watching the stream live or watching on the playback. I just want to say that I appreciate the fact that right now I have 42 subscribers, and my content has been watched for a total of 500 hours. I do appreciate that, because I know that people like yourselves, you have different channels, creators to watch. Now, before I let my guest in, I'm going to read the disclaimer. The views of the guests who appear on the channel are not necessarily those of the host nor the channel. Any attempt to copy this material without the consent of the host Jose Negron or the channel Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron is prohibited. By appearing on the call, you waive your rights to your image on the channel. Some of the views which guests hold may be offensive to some viewers. If you don't like the channel, you can block the content, you can block the channel. And now we're going to invite. Good evening, Ramon.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you doing today?
There might be a delay, so
Yeah,
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good, Don Jose. It's just that for a moment we had a bit of a delay.
Okay, understood. Now, the topic for tonight is what is your pet peeves?
Yes, yes. I was actually thinking about a bit about it before logging in. The only pet peeve that I could think of is that I don't know if you have been with to the theater or the movie theater, and the people that can't keep quiet, they're always talking or pulling out the cell phones
Yeah.
and making some kind of a noise and disturbing other people that are trying to watch whatever it is on the stage on screen. That's the only one that I can think about right now, to be perfectly honest. Because that's why I cannot. If I were to go to the movies and I'm not on a date and I feel like going to see a movie, sometimes I go to the later showings where there are less likely to be people there, so I can have space around me, and I don't have anybody right next to me that are gonna be talking possibly. That's the only thing that I can think of. I'm a simple guy. I'm not into having having idiosyncrasies. I think is the name for it. That they have the things have to always be a certain way so to make me comfortable. I'm not a demanding person, but that's the one that I think about. That's the one that I can remember.
Do you know what used to be my pet peeve? When I'm in a virtual meeting
What's that?
and then you have people who do not mute themselves, and then you hear the TV going on, you hear the radio going on, you hear children screaming, you hear
Oh,
people arguing. Okay. At this point, you know, I'm just going to have to accept the fact that there are some people who do not have virtual meeting etiquette.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's sometimes because my job, there are people that can't come in because of the restrictions, the COVID restrictions. They're working remotely. And what happens is that many of the people that are working from home, when they do a Zoom meeting that involves all of us, they broadcast it across monitors, and we can see them. Many of them are at home. Maybe of them, what they do is that they put up kind of like a virtual background, so you don't really see their house. You don't really see where they live at. Um, but usually it's actually very orderly. They're not having that problem now. When it comes to people that are at home and they have their children, that's a little hard to avoid. One has to be a little more understanding when it comes to children. All of a sudden, you might be in a meeting and your kid is outside the room, and the moment the the kid wants to come in the room, all of a sudden it's a little difficult to avoid. That's understandable because we're talking about a child that is kind of like doing its thing. But yeah, there are people that are kind of not having the respect for the meeting that it should be, that they should be having for, or maybe or maybe they need to sneeze and they don't mute themselves before doing that. I think I might have done that myself by accident, but but I know better. I know not to do that. And yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine that it could be bothersome and it could be annoying because if you are in a virtual meeting, the last thing that you want to do is having all kinds of personal noises around you, and it will be, yeah. I mean, it will be more on the professional side to keep that to a minimum. Again, the only exception could be if someone is having a family gathering
Okay.
and they
Well,
have their kid around, and that it could interrupt. That's the only one that is understandable. Yeah.
mhm. Well, believe it or not, I can understand children because children are going to be children. Okay, so I'm more patient with the children. It's just that when you have adults that will not turn off the TV or turn off the radio, or
Yeah.
they get into a telephone conversation and they don't have the courtesy of muting themselves. Okay, children, I'm more tolerant because children are going to be children. Okay, it's
Right.
kind of hard to tell a 6 year old or a 7 year old, please be quiet. It's another thing when you're 35 years old and you have the TV on or you have the radio on or you have the phone ringing in the background. Now, I have enough etiquette to know that, for example, whenever I go live or I join a panel, whether it be your panel, whether it be your stream or whether it be Denise's or what have you, what I do is I put my phones on vibrate.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
way you don't hear the phone ring. I mean, you might hear a buzz, and that's about it. And if I do get a phone call, what I'll do is I'll just mute myself, and I'll answer a call, or what have you. Or what I'll just, you know what? Just leave the phone, go to voicemail. I You're able. Okay. Looks like our friend Ramon is having some technical difficulties. Hopefully, he'll be able to resolve that. Um, I do see that now there are 4 people watching this stream. So again, by all means, do not be shy. I am not going to bite. I'm not going to ridicule you if you enter a respectable comment in the chat. And by all means, feel free to click on the link and join the panel. And let's have a discussion. What is your pet peeve? What are those things that people do that annoys the dickens out of you? Okay. And like I said before, again, it could be something that people they don't know. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link again. Just give me a moment. Okay. Unfortunately, I have not learned yet how to pin the link, so therefore I don't have to keep dropping the link. That's something I'm gonna have to learn. I guess I'll probably do the millennial thing and just watch a video on YouTube how to do it, or maybe I'll reach out to somebody that can walk me through it. Okay, let's see if okay.
Yes, sir. I don't know what happened. I got cut off, and I heard you saying when kind of like when it comes to the etiquette and what you were doing when you would put your devices away, and but that's when I couldn't hear you. I don't know what happened.
Okay, well, what I was explaining is that whenever I do my live streams or I enter another string, whether it be yours or Denise's or what have you, what I will do is I'll place my phones on vibrate.
Yes.
So therefore, if I, for
Yeah.
example, if I get a phone call, it'll just be a buzz. If I get a text, I can see the text. And then what I will do is, if someone's calling me, well, they can leave a voicemail message, and I'll call
Yeah.
the.
Put it on quiet. I mean, not pick it up right then and there.
Yeah, because unfortunately,
Yeah, they can go to
I
voicemail. They can
yeah,
it can go to voicemail. Yeah.
because I have seen people actually pick up the phone and
Yeah.
actually start
Yeah.
talking, and
Well,
everybody.
I don't know. I don't know. There are folks that, for whatever reason, they need to. Uh, they can't do it. They can't do it. I understand that there could be instances that even in a meeting they need to be able to be connected, but still they need to follow some base rules.
Well, you're not going to believe what this is a funny story. It wasn't funny at the time, but it was a funny story. I was on a virtual meeting every month. There's a meeting with the union reps. So I had someone that was trying to call me on Facebook Messenger. And the funny thing is, this individual saw me, I was on the call. Okay. He sees me that I'm participating in a meeting. So what I'll do is I text him, I cannot be disturbed because we're in a meeting. You know what this individual did? Call me again.
Uh,
And then I had that
oh,
text, please do not disturb me. Okay. And then he wanted me to enter a question in the chat, because at some point the chat was disabled, but the chat function was restored. So I text back, if you have a question,
mhm.
you'll have a concern, what you can do is either enter it in the chat, or what you could do is use the raise hand function and wait until you're given the okay to proceed with your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there are people that are not very good at following simple instructions.
I know. I know. Do you know how many virtual meetings I've been to today?
I can only
Four.
imagine. I'm not.
Four. Four.
Three, four.
Four.
Ugh.
Yes.
Uh, I'm not very good at meetings because I have been to a few, and I would rather get back to what I was doing, because meetings kind of put me to sleep. Like them.
And in fact, I was going to do a short video because today is my father's birthday. He would have been 93 today. It does that.
Only
It.
I'm having a quick meeting with my department lead.
Mhm. Okay. So I was going to do a quick video just, regarding my father. So I said, I'm sorry that it'll make it four virtual meetings and plus a video. No, that's way too much. I love my father, but I'll just post something on Facebook. I mean, my father's in a better place, and he knows I love him. So now, do you have any other pet peeves or that? Okay, I think we just lost. I think our friends, the slow tips, are going after Ramon. Um, but let's see if he is able to resolve that issue. I do appreciate the fact that there are three people currently watching the stream. And again, by all means, if you wish to enter a comment, by all means do so. If you want to enter the stream, the link is there. Um, Because believe it or not, this channel is not about me. This channel is bigger than me. Um, the whole purpose of this channel is to discuss. Okay, let's try this. Okay, Ramon, it seems our friends, the slow taps are trying to prevent our friend from joining. But as I was saying before, the reason why I created this channel is that we can have a dialogue where we can discuss different issues in a mature manner. There's going to be times that we're going to disagree, and that's fine. That's not a problem. In fact, that's great because I look at it this way. You may have some truth, I may have some truth, and then the truth is in the middle. Let's see. Okay, Ramon, are you there?
Yes, sir. I don't know. Stranger cut me off again. I don't know what's going on, and I'm checking my internet connection, and it's all strong on my end, but it's something with Stranger that is acting up. Yeah, but I can hear you.
Well, okay. Well, if there's any consolation, I have had trouble with StreamYard too. So you're not the only
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. Right, right. Okay, okay. So, and you were the last thing that I heard you mention um, was about the meetings that you've been having to have at home. I'm not good at them. I'm not good at them. So I, I sympathize. I sympathize with you having to be in so many meetings, and sometimes eh, a couple of them at work with my coworkers and my department lead. That's fine. That's fine. But not we're not doing kind of like company wide meetings like that anymore. And what they're doing is that they're doing Zoom meetings and broadcasting them uh, for us to the people that actually have to be in the building. So the company-wide meetings like that is not being done like that anymore, and I'm actually not missing them.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, due to the health crisis, um,
Yeah,
we've been doing virtual meetings for almost 2 years. Okay, whether it be
yeah,
um, with
yeah.
my union, whether it be with my employer. I even had Zoom meetings with my siblings in regards to our mother's care when she was still alive, and then after she passed away, things of that nature. So I mean, I'm so freaking sick of Zoom. I am so sick
Yeah.
of team meetings and all that sort of thing, and then having to deal with the same thing over and over and over again. And then then our team, we had a team meeting with
I feel for you.
yeah, with the leadership team, and then one of my coworkers started yelling at me on the floor. And I said, first of all, lower your voice if you have an issue of
What?
yes,
Oh, no, no, no. Ah,
yes,
that's disrespectful.
okay.
Mhm.
So I tried to explain myself. The person would not go to it. So he said, you know what? Since you're not going to allow me to speak uninterrupted, I'm not going to, I have nothing else to say. Because I'm too old and to be entered this bonchinche in La Tirijada. I'm sorry. I'm too old for that. I've been through too much already.
Right,
And and if you
right,
think you
right.
can, and if you think you can do a better
Hmm.
job, by all means, you run to become the delegate and union rep yourself. because it does require a certain amount of temperament when you are a
Exactly.
union rep. Okay.
Exactly.
And I don't have to stay
Yeah.
there and to be
Yeah.
yelled at like a child. Okay.
Oh no, 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 no. And let me guess. Let me guess. The other person was younger than you.
Slightly. But actually, she was like, this person was like a year younger.
But still. I mean, it would have been adding insult to injury if it had been somebody particularly younger, somebody who could almost be your offspring. I mean, that's like, no, no, that's out of line. That's disrespectful. It is disrespectful already.
Yeah. So then my supervisor
Wow.
calls me,
Oh,
calls me over
that's
the
messed up.
side.
That's messed up.
My supervisor calls me on the side and asks me what's going on. I say, well, first of all, you have someone yelling and screaming on the floor. And I'm trying to explain myself, and that
Yeah.
person's not allowing me to speak without interrupting, and then tells me not to raise my voice while you're raising yours.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah,
That
really. I don't,
that
and you know,
disrespecting you by
and I don't need, you know what? I don't have to subject myself to
raising
that.
their voice, disrespecting you like that, but telling you not to raise your voice. Uh huh. Really?
Really. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because okay, and okay, I hate this. Okay, I'm not trying to sound like a Karen. Okay, first of all, I'm an adult and I'm a child. Number one. Number two, I'm a union rep. Number three, I am a welfare fund trustee.
Right.
I'm actually part of the union's administration. So there is no need to address a union rep in that
Yes.
fashion. Okay. But it is what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And I don't bear grudges because I'm too old and life is too short.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. But don't let that stress you out, Don Jose.
no, please. You're talking to a person that's gone through since 2012 losing their father, his mother, two brothers, a sister, and two major
Yeah.
surgeries
Right.
in less than 10
Yeah. You're a
years.
survivor.
Okay?
You're a survivor.
You think I'm gonna
Yeah.
let something this moronic? No. I'm too old and I'm too what have you.
Yeah.
But yeah. So but you know what? Life goes on. And
No, that's true. That's true.
yeah.
That's
Right.
right.
Yeah. Well, fortunately for me, I have this extended weekend, and I have some good news. Tomorrow night, the temperature is going down to the teens.
That's not good news. Tell me the actual good news. That's not good news. You
That,
have
that
an
is good.
extended weekend. That's good news. But no, 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 no. That if you have a long weekend, that's good news. But no, no, no. The whole thing about it being too cold, getting it down to the teens, yeah, down to the
Okay,
tens, too
okay,
cold.
but remember who you're speaking to.
I know. I'm speaking to you. Need to be more on a tropical setting. You'll be happier.
And in fact, would you believe one of the streams I'm planning to do is what is your favorite
Uh-huh.
season?
Uh, My favorite season is the one that doesn't involve cold and snow. Anything that doesn't involve cold and snow. That's my
So I
favorite
take
season.
so I take it will be summer as one of them.
Yeah, summer is one of them. As long as it doesn't get too hot. And in the last couple of years here in Texas, it hasn't been gotten that bad when it comes to the heat, because there have been a couple of years where the heat around the end of July and part of August, temperatures will go all the way up to the 112, 114 mark. I've had to deal with that. But according to what has mentioned, out in California, it can get even harder than that. I wouldn't know how to deal with that. But
Well,
warm, I'm like, I feel at home when it's like in the 80s and the mid 90s. I'm good. I think that's wonderful. But anything below what, like 55 degrees, that's too cold for me.
you know what? You sound like our friend Denise.
Right. Considering where she's from, she's supposed to sound like me.
Okay, yeah, but in all
Considering
fairness,
where we're from. That's right.
I know. Okay, but in all fairness, when was the last time LA actually got down to the 40s or even the 30s or what have you? Okay.
Nah. I'm never gonna be cool with that. I mean, I'm never gonna get used to it. No,
Um,
can't do it.
well, I gotten used to the climate in New York.
Well, we've been there. Yeah, we've been over that. You've always been there, so of course, you're used to it.
In fact, I plan to go to Albany this winter because it gets nice and cool.
Okay, well, you go on and enjoy yourselves. Don't ever invite me to that. No, no. You go on and enjoy yourselves, Don Jose. Bundle up, dress warm.
Well, I remember one time I was out in Albany in the evening and it was like 14 degrees outside and my coat was unbuttoned and I didn't feel cold.
Well, good for you. Good for you. You're like a polar bear. You're like a polar bear. You have insulated skin like a polar bear. Good for you.
Well, would you believe some of the nicknames people have called me? I have been known as Mr. Freeze. I have been known as Frosty. I have been known as
Uh-huh.
Winterman.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. Yeah,
In
I
fact, you know
totally
what I
believe it.
in fact,
Yeah,
you know
I
what I
believe it.
do you know what I do every day on the first day of spring? I start the countdown until the first day of winter.
What do you do?
I'll start counting until they.
Come on.
No, I'm serious.
Come on, Jose.
If you look,
I don't know
if you-
what you would do.
I mean, if you were to go to
Yeah,
my,
I'm sure. I know you're serious. It doesn't make sense, but I know you're serious.
I mean, if you go to my page on Facebook starting March the 20th, you're going to see a daily countdown 276 days until the first day of winter, 265 days until the first day of winter, 200 days until the first day of winter, and so on, and so on, and so
Uh
on.
huh. You're obsessed. You're obsessed. You're obsessed with the winter. No. You're supposed to enjoy all of the nicer, warmer months that go from what, April, March, April, all the way down to November. Too much
Well,
nice weather time in between for you to be so obsessed with the winter. The winter is so uncomfortable and you can't move around, and you can't walk on the sidewalk without slipping and falling down, and and falling on that dirty snow. that probably has all kinds of. Ugh, I wouldn't want that.
Well, I gotta admit, my management does a very good job cleaning the snow.
That's the whole. That's another thing. I wouldn't want to live in a place where I have to shovel snow. I've never done that in my life. I wouldn't want to do start having to do that now. I
Well,
should have said no.
that's the reason why I never. Part of the reason why I never wanted to own a house. A condo is easy. So, someone always shovels the snow.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So
No, I get it. I get it. I get it. There is a convenience there. Somebody else is gonna be doing that for you. Hmm.
yes. So I don't. I don't think about it.
Yeah. 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 But
And if it gets too snowing, guess
that's
what?
good.
I'm taking the day off.
Okay. All right.
No, because look,
I hear you.
I love cold, but I don't like snow.
Oh no, no, no! You have to you have to take the snow with the cold. I mean, you can't you can't have one without the other. That's not
Okay.
how it goes. You have to take the snow too.
Okay, but you're forgetting. You don't
Yeah,
have
you have to get the.
Ramon, you don't have to
uh,
reconstruct your knees.
I don't have okay. What?
You have not gone through two knee replacement surgeries.
Ah, all
Okay.
right.
Yeah. Because the last thing I want
Oh,
is
I
to
see.
slip
I
and
see.
fall and then I get hospitalized because no. It's for that reason why I don't like snow.
Yeah.
And if it gets
Yeah.
very heavy, guess what? I'm taking the day off.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
now I don't mind.
I hear you.
I don't mind when it gets down to zero or even minus zero. That's okay.
I will mind. I know I will. I
You
know
know,
I will mind.
I can imagine you suffering last winter with the cold and then there was no heat.
That will be a doozy for me. I mean, I will be risking getting pneumonia or something, or bronchitis.
Could you imagine
I
our
couldn't
friend
do it.
Denise?
I couldn't do it.
Could you, okay, could you imagine our friend Denise having to deal with this with the cold?
Well, I understand that she also has a condition with one of her knees, and
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if the cold will be bothersome for her.
I think for her it'll be more of a problem with snow because when you have
Yeah,
knees that are not
yeah,
in good shape, I mean, if you're out there in the snow, one good trip, you can hurt yourself real bad. In fact, that's how my younger
yeah,
brother injured himself because he slipped on some black ice and he fell down and he fractured his foot. And he was hospitalized for a
yeah,
long time. And in fact, he sued the landlord because of negligence.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. There is that. There is that. Oh boy.
one thing I mentioned before, one pet peeve I have is when the person's not punctual.
What is not punctual? I'm sorry.
When the person's not on time. Now I don't mind if the person's 5 minutes late, 10 minutes.
Punctual, punctual.
Yes.
Well, I hate that. I hate that. Particularly when it comes to like dates. I've had to deal with that with a couple of times, and nah, after a couple of times being made to wait, nah, I hate it. I hate it. So I try to be very particular about it. I'm gonna be picking you up at about this time. Be on time. Be on time. I don't like to be made to wait. I have
Exactly.
a that now. That's a pet peeve. That's a pet
Yeah.
peeve for me.
Yeah.
So that's not something. Nah. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be at this place. If I'm not picking the person up, tell them I'm gonna be at this place at about this time. Yeah, let's not be late, pretty please, because I hate people that there is no such thing as being fashionably late. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I
The
heard
whole thing
that
about
too.
being
I
fashionably
heard
late.
that too. But how could I say without something judgmental? Um, I think that's just basically an excuse so you can arrive late. I mean,
Nah, it's not an excuse. It's not a. It's
but
not a valid excuse. It's an
yeah,
excuse, but it's not a valid excuse.
but there was one. I remember one virtual meeting that I attended. What? Okay, what happened was this was called a virtual appearance with the trustees. And basically, what it is that whenever we have a member that the welfare fund makes a decision that the member does not agree on, that member has the right to write a letter
Mhm.
to the administrator and have the trustee step in to overturn the decision. And then if the person is still not satisfied with the decision that was made, the person has the right to request a virtual appearance with the trustees. Now, this was in one personal appearance. This person was outside in a cafeteria environment, and you hear all sorts of noise in the background. So here I am.
Oh,
I'm trying to listen to what the member is saying, and then you hear all the background noise of what have you. So it's like, excuse me, can you repeat yourself?
yeah,
And then
yeah,
and
yeah.
then
That's being considerate. Hmm.
yeah, because let me tell you something. You are asking us to overturn a decision that the welfare funds made. At least have the courtesy. If you're going to have a virtual meeting, do not do it in a cafeteria. Do it at home or in an environment where there's no background noise.
Yeah, yeah. Like in their office, if they have an
Yeah.
office, or like in a quiet place, it would have been nice. Yeah,
In fact, it bothers me so much that I actually
yeah.
spoke.
But there are people that does.
I mean, I actually called the administrator myself on
Yeah,
her
you were
cell phone.
saying.
I called the administrator on a cell phone. I said to her, I'm
Yeah.
requesting that in the future, whenever you have members that requested to make a personal appearance with the trustees, please be reminded that they have to do it in the background where there's no background noise.
Yeah, that should go without saying, but there are people that don't have common sense. It's not a common thing these days.
Or what I call uncommon sense.
It should go without saying.
I know. And the fact I shouldn't even have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
ask
that is
it.
uncommon sense.
I shouldn't even have to ask it.
You shouldn't have to.
No.
No.
I mean, it's like you're asking us to overturn a decision. But yet you don't have the courtesy of doing it in an environment when you at least minimize the background noise,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you have a problem answering questions. That's not a good thing either. You're asking us to overturn the decision, but you're not providing us information that we need.
Right. Right.
So, but well,
Yeah,
I'm
there are
feeling
people that are just gonna be difficult like that. Hmm.
yeah. Well, I do appreciate the fact that I've gotten 5 likes. Okay,
That's
so
good.
okay,
That's
so
good. People are watching. People are watching. They just want. They need to hit the likes. Hit the likes for Don Jose.
yes, I mean, well, I'm happy because Now I have 42 subscribers, and
Hmm.
my content has been
That's
watched
good.
a total of 500 hours.
Okay, that's
So
pretty good.
you
That's
know
pretty
what
good.
I
Yeah.
think it is. I think a lot of people catch it on the replay, which is fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let me just take a moment to talk about our friend the introvert Boricua has his own channel as well. So he has posted a couple of streams. Um, he's also a new YouTube creator, and as I follow Boricua, um, I'm gonna ask that everyone please like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to all, so when the introvert Boricua uh, airs any content, you will be notified and you'll have an opportunity to either catch it live or catch it on the replay.
Yes. Yes. That's There is also the other channel. Both of those channels are linked because I mean I started the introvert Boricua channel. I still don't have any content in it, but I still have the couple of streams that I have done on the Ramon channel, and in the alternate channels in introvert Boricua's channel, you can find that other channel, and you can check out those streams and a couple of travel videos that I have done that have been there for quite some time. You can check those out. Subscribe to both of those channels just in case it is easier to post like a live or some new video in either or. Uh, hit the bell button so you can get the notifications.
Yeah. Do you have any idea when you're going to create any more content?
Soon. There is I know that a few days back I mentioned a subject that I wanted to cover with the 18th letter, but he's been sick, so I haven't gotten into doing that by myself. There is one subject that I'm trying to gather. I'm trying to gather some info about, so I actually have an idea of what I'm talking about. It has to do with the Spanish Empire, and but that one I want to do it by myself. That's one that I want to address by myself. But there is also this other subject that I wanted to be able to have a co-host on it. And when it comes to what's the biology, when it comes to reproduction and the bloodline that is carried, whether it what those the science says versus what belief faith says, because there seems to be kind of like a confusion of it. I mean, who do you carry, whose bloodline do you really carry when as an offspring of your mother, of your father, which bloodline is the one that you really carry? Because I'm hearing conflicting things about that. So that's another thing I'm trying to do some reading about, getting some info about. And on that one I would like to have kind of like a, if not a panel, I would like to be able to have like a co-host on it, and maybe I could get you to participate in that one. So that's to be announced. That's to be posted, and I'll make sure that to let you know.
Well,
But that's something that I have to.
I will appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Because it is kind of like one of those subjects that I have floating in my mind, but I haven't gotten around to actually plan something to do a stream on it. But I would like to. I would like to, and I have to get more serious about it because I get involved with other things. Life happens, and it takes kind of like all of my attention, and I don't dedicate enough time to kind of like do these kind of things, being able to talk to you and to do a stream and put it out for other people to watch. I have to get on that. I know I have to. I mean, I have the setup already because I do want to. It's just that again, life happens. I have to tend to things that are kind of like day to day, being in the grind, that are more immediate. So yeah, but I haven't forgotten. And I definitely make sure to send you a notification, a link, and
Mhm.
to let you know, because I definitely, at least on this other one, there is one that I would like for you to participate in and give us your perspective. That is, it might be kind of like you being more religious than me, because I know that I'm a bit of a heathen. So so I don't have a problem
Okay.
with having more of a different perspective.
Okay. Well, okay. I tend to look at it. It's more okay. The problem is when it comes to the heathen and the religious part, it gets to be a little bit um, judgmental, and it paints people in a certain way.
Yeah,
Um, okay, now how I define religion is the following: it is man's attempt to seek the answers that only God can provide. That is my definition of religion. Now I do know that Christianity is a religion, but I also look at it as a way of life. Okay. And I'm not concerned so much
right.
to be religious. I'm more concerned about trying to be as faithful of observant as I can, and meanwhile being tolerant of
Yeah.
people who have different views.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sure thing. Sure thing.
Yeah. In fact, when we did when we did the stream regarding how to combat white supremacy, um, um, I spoke about my outlook as a Christian, and I posed a question to the panel: Do you consider me the typical Christian? And the result is no, because for one thing,
Do we consider who Christian?
am I considered the typical Christian? And the general consensus is no, because I tend to interact with people who have different views, and I at least will
Hmm.
listen.
Okay, yeah. Because there are people, there are certain type of Christian that I don't really trust. I don't have a problem talking to you. You say that you're a Christian. That's perfectly fine. But at least, even though I don't say that I'm a Christian, you're willing to listen to what I have to say, which is something that I appreciate about you. But there are people that consider themselves Christians, but these people are some of the are some of the most um, judgmental and racist and very self-centered, and they put themselves on pedestals, and there are other adjectives that you can call them by, and they're not very positive, and they use their position as Christians to kind of like look down on other people that might not share the same views as them, and pass judgment, and put themselves as somebody who speaks on behalf of God, which is very arrogant to my understanding. And people like that, I don't like, because a lot of the time, people that are always bringing up God and everything that they talk about, they come across as being somebody that has something to hide, that they have done something, or they are into something that they shouldn't, but they hide behind this cloak of religious purity or something, so they don't get judged in case something is learned about them, something is known about them that is kind of damaging to their image. But they are always claiming God and Jesus, this and that, so that people don't judge them. People like that, I find suspicious, because they claim to be something, but they're not operating in the way that they should. And if that makes any sense, there are people that use religion as an escape way, kind of like. to
Yeah,
escape accountability, possibly for their actions. I mean, you know what has been said about the Catholic Church for a long time, and like when it comes to pedophilia, you know what I'm referring to. Without getting
yeah,
into that, I
but
mean,
but they,
I'm not trying
believe,
to get into that. It's too easy to try to get in.
okay, you know what? As a practicing Catholic, the one thing that I agree, we're gonna have to acknowledge the fact is that unfortunately we have had clergy that have taken advantage of youth. We have to admit it. We also have to admit the fact that the Spaniards forced the indigenous people to adopt Christianity, uh, which is something that his Hispano type brethren cannot accept.
Oh, it was convert or die. The same thing that they accused the Muslims of doing. Oh yeah, the Christians at that time they were doing the same thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not innocent. They're not innocent.
believe me. Um, Also, if you take a if you take a if you take if you make a notation, I have respectable discussion and dialogue with a wide open people like Denise, you, Melanated Night, Radical Latino, Brotab, um, the 18th letter.
Hmm.
You know, let's you're talking about six or
Yeah,
seven different people with different points of view, and I have no problem. And in fact,
right,
when we had
right.
our this stream regarding whether the pandemic's over, me and Denise we disagreed 100%, but we kept it respectable.
Yeah. No, but I get what she was trying to say. It's just that there are places that there may be places in the world where that it goes from being a pandemic to being more of an endemic thing. So there is gonna be like a presence and for the disease, and precautions are gonna have to be maintained. And but if it's true what is being said, what the data is reflecting, like newer variations of the COVID are not supposed to be so devastating. It can still kill. It can still can get people sick, but it might just be getting people sick temporarily. But it might not be so fatal. It may not be as fatal as the original COVID was, because that one really killed a lot of people. But these newer variants, we haven't heard much about the Delta. I haven't really heard much about Delta in a long time. We're hearing more about Omicron,
Well, actually, I
but
heard there's
apparently
a
Omicron is not being so devastating.
no. What happened is you have people becoming more infected, and in fact, as much as 25% of those tested are coming out positive because of the Omicron variant. But the death roll is not climbing as fast.
Hmm.
So, like I said, Denise made a lot of good points last week. Okay. And like I said before,
Yeah.
she had some truth, I had some truth, and the actual truth is in the middle.
Yeah, it's somewhere in between. All that we can do is trying to get as informed as possible, and being able to act accordingly, to take the necessary precautions, and being responsible for oneself. That's necessary. It's necessary. I mean, we can't be reckless, because it is still killing. It is still killing people. I mean,
People need to
there
be
is still something out there. This is still being having consequences.
Yeah, people need to take use common sense, which is if you're going to go outside, make sure that you have a face covering that covers your nose and mouth completely. Practice social
Yeah.
distancing. Make sure that you thoroughly wash your hands for 20 seconds. And if you're not feeling well, by all means, stay home. And
Yeah.
also,
Of course, I do all of that, and I have to be I have to be careful. Even though down here we're not having the mandates, and we're not having any mandates, but where I work at, people a group, a significant group of people have gotten infected. Thankfully, I don't know of anybody actually passing away because of it, but several people did get infected and did have to stay quarantined. But they have recovered. They seem to have recovered well, which is good.
well, one thing I did in preparation to that stream, I did research, and actually, at least 90% of the people infected recover. And depending, you
Mhm.
know, it can
Yeah,
be as much as 99%. It says that what happens is if your immune system is very weak, or if you dealing with cancer, or you have
yeah,
diabetes, or you're morbidly obese, it's going to have a more serious effect to someone that's more relatively healthy. So, um, Ramon,
yeah. It does affect more somebody that is overweight. Yes, sir.
yeah. Do you have anything that you wish to add to this topic?
No, because honestly, I couldn't remember any other major pet peeves. The only one about the theaters or movie theaters, or maybe when meeting somebody. Now that one is big. That one is big, and somebody not meeting at the at the time that is being upon, whether it is a meeting for an actual meeting, a business meeting, or meeting a date. Either or, it
Hmm.
is punctuality is something that I value. I value that. It's important to me.
Okay. So, it being that no
But
one
aside from
else,
that, I can't think of anything right now.
okay, that's perfectly fine. It looks like no one else is going to join the stream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with closing remarks, because I am not going to do no 8, 9, 10 hour stream, because I know I'm reasonably intelligent, but no one wants to hear me talk for 8, 9 hours. I mean, so Ramon, what are your final thoughts regarding the
No,
issue?
it's not. It depends. Those no, I mean, when it comes to the subject, if that's what you're referring to, yeah, I mean, if we're talking about meetings, important meetings, business meetings, work meetings, I do agree that there has to be some kind of an etiquette for it. I mean, it shows that one is taking the meeting seriously and showing professionalism in the process. So I definitely believe that there should be some kind of rules when it comes to that. I think it only makes sense. I mean, you have to be professional in other aspects of when it comes to your work or your business. You have to be professional about it. When it comes to that, also meetings, you have to be professional too and be on time. It's not that much to ask. It's the adult thing to do.
Mhm. Okay, well, I do appreciate you, introvert Boricua, coming on the panel to share your observations. In fact, you were the only guest tonight. In fact, last year it was just basically me by myself. But
Ah,
it's gonna be days like that. So you just have to
yeah.
just try to create streams where it's educational. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but in the beginning, I put down some music. I played some music, something a little bit livelier.
I couldn't. We're not in the holidays anymore, so I will have to go back and check it out. I couldn't catch it from the very beginning, so I'll check it out. I'll check the playback.
Well, the reason why I do that, first of all, is to let people know, give people an opportunity to log on and to actually participate in the stream, because you have people who are just coming in from work or what have you. So I do appreciate. I'm gonna put you in the background. If you can stay, stay, because I do want to start talking about a little bit more about during our live stream in Spanish, because we need to let
Okay, sure thing. I'll
our
wait.
community who are not English dominant take advantage as well. So I'm going to put you in the background. Please do not go away. Now I'm going to give you my final thoughts regarding pet peeves. Um, they could be silly to some and serious to others. The key is, if someone has expressed to you that what you say and do is a pet peeve, just out of consideration or out of mutual respect, at least hear that person out, and then use the opportunity to reflect and think, maybe what I am saying or what I'm doing is bothering that person. Maybe I need to think about it, or maybe change my behavior. That's when we have mutual respect, when we're able to accept constructive criticism and not continue to perform the pet peeves. Now, of course, the topic for our next train is, what is the thought process of the mentally and intellectually challenged? So what we're going to do is we're going to take a discussion regarding the thought process or lack of a thought process. And of course, it's going to be analytical. We're not going to mention anybody's names, because if we're going to talk about somebody, at least that person should be there to defend themselves or to respond to any type of observation or criticism. That being said, of course, I'm going to close the same way I always close. People, please be careful out there, because we are in the middle of a health crisis, which unfortunately has killed about 840,000 people and led to huge spikes in infection rates. And we must do everything possible to minimize our contact with the mentally and intellectually challenged. Because if we fail to do so, we'll be infected with a pandemic that's even worse than this health crisis, which is um, stupidity and insanity. That being said, I wish to bid everybody a blessed night. I thank everybody who watched the live stream. I also thank everybody who will catch it on the replay. And again, please considering liking, subscribing, and hitting the bell notification for all. So therefore, you will be notified once I post any material. Again, this has been Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Good night and peace.